Hey, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Up Your Alley. This week's episode, we are talking about Jake's recommendation for me, the 2016 PC horror simulator. I don't know what to call it. We'll get into it more. It's terrifying. Game. It's a video game by Kitty Horrorshow called Anatomy. And we're also going to talk about my recommendation for Jake, the Netflix documentary, The Octopus Murders. All that, plus Jake saw Dune 2, and we're going to talk some new comic book stuff coming up. Jake, you ready, buddy?
Yes!
All right, let's hit the riff. Two weeks in, and it holds up.
I'm doing my best not to talk through it, and I'm doing a great job.
So would it be easier for you if we just plugged it in afterwards? I kind of like hearing it live.
I mean, wherever we go, we go.
Yeah.
I follow the path laid in front of me, but...
Oh, you're a good little soldier of the podcast, aren't you?
I am... I want to stay stuffed the whole time. That's what I think theme song's playing.
Thanks again to our buddies, Brother Bill.
I kind of just want to keep yelling, Brother Bill!
Yeah. They helped us out with the theme song. All of their stuff, link to their Bandcamp is available down in the show notes or the description of the video. If you are watching this on YouTube, remember to subscribe. We're inching closer and closer to 1,000 subscribers. That's our next big milestone that we're trying to hit. Also, leave a like on this video. Comment anything, literally anything. Anything. In the algorithm, if people are commenting anything, that's great. And if you're following us on Spotify, awesome. If not, click the follow button on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, wherever you're doing that. Yeah. That's everything of the call to action. Jake, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing fine,
so
sir.
You finally went out and saw Dune 2.
Yes, I did. I went out. It was great.
Yeah,
it's a great movie.
Where did you see it? You go IMAX, or did you only get like an RPX?
I went to Cineplex in Centerville.
Oh, yeah?
Yes.
So is that...
Cinemark, I think it's called. The one that you could have got the Shai Hulud popcorn bucket that they were sold out of.
That went out so quick. That just got memed into oblivion.
So my other friend, he went like a week before, and he was in line, and he was like, I want one of the buckets, and they're like, we sold out. But he got in line, and a guy behind him had a bucket, and he was like, hey man, how'd you get that bucket? He's like, oh, I brought this from home.
Because it was his like second time seeing Dune?
Yes.
Yeah.
Two things. One, why did you bring it back?
Yeah. Do they refill popcorn buckets if you bring it?
Yes, apparently.
Oh. Still weird.
Like I don't feel it. To me, it's supposed to be a collector's item, so you're not supposed to keep eating out of it.
So would you ask them for the Shai Hulud souvenir bucket and be like, by the way, don't put popcorn in there. I'm going to keep this for posterity.
No, I mean, I'll do it for the fun of it.
Just
because it's the moment.
Right.
Yeah, but I wouldn't be like, we got to get some mileage out of this popcorn bucket. I'm going to put it up on a shelf or something.
I'm going to give that to my grandkids one day.
Did you see the Barbie popcorn bucket?
No.
It's a pink convertible. Really? Just a pink convertible.
Like Barbie's dream car or whatever it was.
Yes. And you just fill it with popcorn. It comes with seats, and you remove the seats.
I have a few souvenir popcorn buckets. I am depressed I didn't get the Madam Web popcorn bucket. I should have gotten that when we went and saw Madam Web. Like,
probably get it out of the dumpster.
Yeah, I know I've got a couple of the Eras Tour ones from when I took the kid to see that, and also I think I've got the big. They gave a it's not aluminum, but it's shitty
metallic?
metal. Yeah, it's metallic. It's not just plastic. When we saw Spider-Man third one with all the Spider-Man.
No Way Home.
Yep, that's the one.
Yeah.
When we saw that, I mean, it's fun just to buy one of those, and it's always one of those things.
I would have taken the Shai Hulud just for the fun of it.
How much were they charging for that?
I have no clue.
Yeah,
I would have paid upwards of $25.
Upwards of $25.
Yes. And at that price, I would be like $25.
But you get popcorn too.
Do it, but
I'm looking on eBay right now for.
Oh God, it's going to be $49 on there.
Shipping from Thailand, brand new.
Ew.
Yeah, kind of weird.
Yeah.
That seems like a scam.
Did they ship it to Thailand? Just ship it back here?
Maybe that's where they make them?
I don't understand.
I don't think there's much manufacturing.
It has to be, right?
Well, you can buy it now for $99.
No. What?
Look at this $73 one and see what it's packaged with.
$73 packaged with KY jelly. Wow.
That's the meme.
Wow, they went and did it.
Oh, shout out to that YouTuber. eBay person. Hopefully that's not on YouTube.
eBayer.
So, yeah, you like Dune.
Yes, I did.
Agreed with everything I had to say?
so much.
Oh, boy.
I think Austin Butler is actually an incredible actor.
You turned a corner on him.
I hope his voice gets stuck as this voice now.
It's terrifying.
But like he develops himself into the character so well. I was like, this character is awesome.
Yeah, I saw YouTube does a great job with like YouTube Shorts and stuff for, just picking up in your algorithm from Google and everything, since I have YouTube Premium and it follows like what I search for on Google and whatnot.
Yeah.
And it popped up a little interview with the Stellan Skarsgård, who plays Austin Butler's uncle.
Yeah.
And he was talking about how Austin Butler didn't know, or Skarsgård didn't know that Austin Butler was going to do that voice.
Yeah.
And Skarsgård was just like, oh my God, he's copying my voice, because he has that gravelly voice that Stellan Skarsgård does.
Yeah.
And he nails it. Like
it does a little conniving too.
Yeah.
Sounds so good. Him and Javier Bardem.
Love Javier Bardem.
Doing great work.
I got to say, I don't know if I brought this up in my review, but having Javier Bardem as essentially the comic relief in moments.
Well, just being somebody that's a little more relatable than every single other person in this movie.
Because he does have, and it's been memed like crazy too. They're doing a Life of Brian with Paul, where he's saying, I'm not Lisa Nalgai.
Yeah.
And he's like, of course, that's why he's Lisa.
That's what makes him more our Messiah.
It's the plot of Life of Brian.
They said the Messiah would say he's not the Messiah.
Exactly. That's how you know he's the Messiah. Yeah, it's kind of weird that this came out in February. I think it was scheduled for a December release, and it got pushed back due to the...
Oh, yeah, I remember it got pushed back.
I think due to the strikes and stuff, just for like promotion and all that other shit, just with contracts, it got moved back. But for a February release, and February's, usually the doldrums of movie, that's when you put out your Madam Webs. Yeah. When it's stuff that you just have to get off the books. Even though they don't even get things off the books anymore, they just choose not to release them for tax write-offs.
Yeah.
We still don't get to see Coyote versus Acme.
Yeah, they're just going to destroy it. Like, they're just going to destroy it.
Yeah. But this was a great movie. I think this will probably come up for awards at the end of the year. I don't know if any acting awards.
I don't know. Did the first Dune do anything for awards?
I'm sure it did for visual effects and whatnot.
Maybe.
But
no, this movie was great. I had a whole lot of fun.
Definitely go see it. Like I said, go see it on the biggest screen you can.
Cautionary tale that your twink boyfriend could get a little jihadi.
Yes.
If you give him too much power.
Well, that's the second book.
Yeah.
And things go horribly.
Apparently, yeah. Children of Dune? No, Messiah.
Yeah.
That's where there's like, no. Like, he's not good.
That's the whole point of the series.
We still have to tell people Paul's not the good guy.
Right.
Like, he was being a good guy, and then he's not a good guy.
Yeah.
It's kind of really easy for me to follow. Yeah.
A lot of people...
There's literally a part in the movie where they're like, you drink the juice, and then you're not a good person anymore.
Yeah.
And then the people are still like, you know what? I think he's really doing something for his people. It's like, he's not.
It's Life of Brian. That's essentially the plot of that whole movie. But speaking of which, we did have... Jake made some very bold predictions about the Academy Awards.
Yes. I said that Oppenheimer was going to sweep.
Yep.
I said that you
Jake
told
said
me
he loves Oppenheimer.
I was going way too deep with it, but I was like, Oppenheimer's taking it.
And I was trying to say, no, Anatomy of a Fall is a really well acted movie.
The only one that I was shocked by was not even shocked because I don't care, but Emma Stone winning Best Actress over
I gotta watch
Lily Gladstone.
Poor Things.
Even though I wanted Sarah Hewler to win.
Right, but that movie was terrible.
That movie was just way over everybody's heads because they can't think that much.
Fuck you.
You have to think. I'm sorry, I like to sit down and think.
That's part of the reason. I sent Jake a clip.
When I watch movies, I sit my white ass down and listen and think.
What did John Mulaney say in his little clip where he was talking about people with silent films? He's like, people that think silent films are better. He's like, these people are difficult and insane. That's how I feel about you every time you talk about Anatomy of a Fall.
I love
you are
him.
Difficult and insane.
He was the highlight of the show.
John Mulaney should just host everything. He did an award show a couple weeks back, the Governor's Award.
Wow.
It's just like a presentation thing. And Nick Kroll and John Mulaney used to do the Independent Spirit Awards, whatever.
Man, I watched that one year and it was great.
Yeah.
It was when Patton Oswalt was up for a Spirit Award for his part in The Fan.
Oh, yeah.
And he had so...
I think it's called Big Fan.
Yes, Big Fan.
The Fan is a different movie.
Yes, The Fan is Robert De Niro.
Yeah.
And he just... really milked it when he lost.
Yeah.
He just got really mad at his table.
Yeah.
I was like, everybody's having fun here. This is a good award show.
It's the Indie Awards. It's the cool kids.
Yes, it was the cool kids table.
But so I said Oppenheimer was going to win Best Picture. Did.
Yes.
I said Christopher Nolan was going to win Best Director. It did.
That's insane. But again, I haven't seen this movie. I'm going to have to watch this movie.
I think we both said Robert Downey Jr. would win it.
Yes.
He did. We both said Da'Vine Joy Randolph would win for
Yes.
The Holdovers, which she did.
Yes.
And her speech was beautiful.
Isn't she one of the most gorgeous women ever?
I will say this.
Wow,
when
she's
she
so
started
moving.
giving her speech, I was like, I swear to God, if they start trying to play her off, like she's going to get so pissed off, and rightfully so. It's just one of those great speeches where you're just like, good for her. Like, as much as we are both kind of callous dickheads in the sense of award shows, we talk about it every award season.
I hate award shows.
We think they're silly, and it did make me feel like a little shitty for shitting on the award shows, just seeing like someone whose performance I fully enjoyed, loved the Holdovers, loved her in the Holdovers. We talked about, go back and listen to our Holdovers episode if you haven't. And she was shining star in that movie, and seeing how much it meant to her, I'm like, I'm kind of a dick for belittling this award, because someone that did a great thing.
I'm still going to belittle these awards, but I'm very happy that she got an achievement.
Yes.
For something.
Rightfully so.
Exactly. It's something that's rightfully so.
I think her co-star...
a broken calendar is right once a year.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, usually, unless it's if it's a calendar for this year, won't be right next year on the 29th.
Right once a year.
Right, but not if it says February 29th, it won't be
a broken
right next year.
calendar is right once a year.
It's not even the expression.
That is exactly the
expression. It's a broken clock is right twice a day.
I can't even believe you're not asking, like, how does a calendar break?
Yeah. It's like saying a broken sundial's right once in eclipse.
A broken sundial is right Sometimes.
Probably.
I can't read them.
Unless there's a tree nearby, I'm not sure how they work. I still don't know how they work.
That's my favorite segment.
But I do think...
I think she did a great job.
I think Paul Giamatti was passed over. I really think he should have gotten it. Cillian Murphy was great, but...
I agree.
I think Paul Giamatti was better. And like you brought up Lily Gladstone. I think she should have won as well.
Yes.
I will say Ludwig Göransson won for Oppenheimer, Best Original Score.
Yeah.
It's his second win after he won for Black Panther, whenever first Black Panther came out.
Oh, cool.
And I've talked about him on the podcast before. Just crazy good producer. He started producing rap tracks with Donald Glover, a.k.a. Childish Gambino.
Right.
And did all the music for new Star Wars. He's basically new John Williams. We're seeing just like the birth of... yeah, he's a birth of a superstar. Like, he's going to be someone that he's going to still be winning Oscars in 30 years, unless he retires or something like that. It's just, he's crazy good. And the score for Oppenheimer, which you haven't seen,
I haven't seen it.
Like, the whole thing with Oppenheimer where they did so many practical effects, it's just Christopher Nolan, like, instead of doing filters and grading and stuff like that, he just knows how to put shit in front of the camera to make it look like there are atoms spinning, and it's just like dust and lights and shit like that. And just really going like that. What Ludwig did is there's no percussion in the score for Oppenheimer, but it feels really impeding and like just rhythmic and everything.
The soundtrack for Killers of the Flower Moon was amazing, and it was Robbie Robertson, and he died last year. So you stole it from Dead Man.
I didn't watch the In Memoriam one.
I didn't either.
Yeah. Was it Akira Toriyama on
I
there?
didn't watch it live.
Yeah.
I watched it off of Twitch, off of a stream from a French guy's green T-shirt. He had it superimposed on his T-shirt. So you're just watching him, but you have to watch his chest to see what's going on.
Get around streaming violation laws?
Yeah, I guess so.
Why'd you watch a French guy do it? So he could get so excited
I don't have
when
ABC Live.
Anatomy of a Fall?
And I just typed in Oscars.
It's called Hulu.
I don't have...
You
I don't have
Hulu?
live TV.
Hulu has live TV.
I'm not paying for
and
it.
Live
That's the
sports.
thing.
Hulu's a bundle of wonder.
I'm not paying.
It comes
for
with
it.
Disney Plus. Also,
paying for it.
At time of recording, 34 minutes ago, the Eras Tour Taylor's version went live on Disney Plus.
You have any idea? I'm pretty sure you talk about that more than anything else on this podcast.
The cup's up behind you.
I don't understand what that means.
Up on the shelf.
That's a Philippalooza cup.
Nope. The one that says Taylor Swift The Eras Tour.
Oh, I see it. There it is.
Yeah. Might be a recommendation for you.
Go ahead.
Nah, it's not this week. I got some worse for you this week because I'm mad at you. What else did I want to talk to you about? Oh, I got new comics, and I got you a present comic.
Yay.
Where's the one for Jake?
I saw.
Jake gets a variant cover.
Oh, what you got?
Bam!
Whoa.
The Last Ronin 2.
Cool.
Did you ever read The Last Ronin?
No, I did not.
All right, so you need to borrow The Last Ronin 2. I have it over there.
Wow.
So this is The Last Ronin 2, which is the sequel to The Last Ronin.
It's got a sugar skull look to it.
Yeah, it's a variant cover. So it's Kevin Eastman, who created the Ninja Turtles with
Laird.
Laird, whose name I'm blanking on his first name.
But Eastman and Laird. That's all I know.
A couple of years ago, they put out The Last Ronin, which was kind of a swan song for the Ninja Turtles. There was one of the Ninja Turtles left. It was Michelangelo, and it's just him in the future trying one last time, basically on a suicide mission to take out the remainers of Shredder's empire. It's like his grandson.
Foot Clan.
Yeah, take out the rest of the Foot Clan. And in that, you see April O'Neil. She's gone full Sarah Connor. Like, April O'Neil's just like a warrior against the Foot Clan in this weird cyberpunk future. She's got like a metal arm and shit like that.
Post-apocalyptic and stuff?
Yeah. It's great. Post-apocalyptic Tokyo, Jake. It's so far up your alley, it's absurd.
Yeah. I would love it. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I loved them.
So
Mutant Mayhem. I think we already talked about it. It's great.
Yeah. Oh, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
So this follows a new group of turtles. Like, all the old turtles are gone.
Kids?
Yes.
Like
teenagers.
Like they were born?
Yes. New turtles.
Or were they gooed?
You got to read the end of this one.
I got to read it.
You got to read the last run. Regardless, I've given you so many comics you haven't read yet. Have you read Something is Killing the Children?
No.
God damn it. I give you so many comics.
You give me too many comics.
All right. Well, when you bring those back, I'll give you Last Ronin. This
and
has gone off the
rails. We
rails.
just found out that Rebel Moon's got a comic out.
Yeah. Not released until August. I gotta
really?
Go back, I got to go back to that comic store. That must have been a promotional copy. Had I known that doesn't get released, the House of Blood Axe,
Yeah.
until August, I'm going to go back there probably this weekend. I'm going to scoop it up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Grab me a copy.
Oh, there's only one copy.
There is?
The House of Blood Axe. That was flying off the shelves, I'm sure. Regardless, new turtles. Yi, Odin, Moja, and Uno. It's one in different languages: Chinese, Spanish, Ukrainian, and Swahili. 4 turtles, 2 boys, 2 girls.
Ooh.
And it's just new. Un wouldn't go. There's another one just called One. But Uno's kind of the leader turtle. And they all have similar traits to some of the other ones. But the cool thing about them is they're being trained by Casey Marie Jones, Casey and April's daughter. And they're just all... The training process is great because, and I won't spoil it, only the first issue's out, but basically all 4 of them, they decided one of the things was all the Ninja Turtles only had one specialty. Mm-hmm. So all of them learn all 4 weapons. So they're all just fucking killing machines.
Okay.
It's great. It's great Turtles. You get that copy.
Which one does machines?
They can all do machines. That's the beauty of it. And they're all party dudes.
I don't know who I root for anymore.
It's great, man.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, okay. You're definitely going to like it. So I recommend that series ongoing. If you guys have a pull list at your local comic book store or anything like that, set up The Last Ronin 2 Re-Evolution. Fucking Ninja
Rebel
Turtles.
Moon, House of Blood Axe.
You know
I made
what?
a promise to everybody that if there's anything that's extended universe, I will read it.
Yes.
And that will be read.
That book I almost bought for you, but then I realized it's just the novelization, which...
I was thinking about that too, but then I was like, it's just a novelization. I might, depending on pressure, I might. But...
I mean, we've only got like another
I've seen
month.
the movie.
We've only got a month until Rebel Moon comes out.
Really?
Rebel Moon 2.
That's insane.
Rebel Moon 2, which is called The Scargiver.
Yes, it's called The Scargiver. Oh, they walk away, but they get scars.
April 19th, yeah.
You know who else is a Scargiver?
Who's the Scargiver?
Plastic surgeons from the 80s.
Is that a thing?
No, it's just a joke that I made up.
Oh, okay. I thought it was like... As far as I know, that was some weird horror movie that you came up with. No. I don't know. So yeah, Scargiver comes out on April 19th. That'll interfere with All Affleck April, unless Jake does me a solid. And 1 week, he just suggests that I watch Rebel Moon,
Oh my
the
gosh,
Scargiver.
you're trying to hijack it.
I'm just saying you could.
I have to do that during All Affleck April. I have to give you one of mine as well.
I'm just saying. It's an easy week for you. You don't have to think of a wreck.
No.
All right.
We'll talk about it.
It's a thought. All right. So, yeah, let's get into our recommendations real quick, after a brief word from our sponsor. Is something interfering with your happiness or preventing you from achieving your goals? Regardless if you have a clinical mental health issue like depression or anxiety, or if you're just a human who lives in the world and is going through a hard time, therapy can give you the tools to approach your life in a very different way. That's why I'm excited to tell you about today's sponsor, BetterHelp. BetterHelp's mission is to make therapy more affordable and more accessible, and that's important because finding a therapist can be really hard, especially if you're limited to the options in your area. BetterHelp is a platform that makes finding a therapist easier because it's online, it's remote, and by filling out a few questions, BetterHelp can match you to a professional therapist in as little as a few days. It's easy to sign up and get matched with your therapist, and there's a link in our description. It's betterhelp.com/Allie. That's betterhelp.com/Allie. Clicking that link helps you support this channel and also gets you 10% off your first month of BetterHelp so you can connect with a therapist to see if it helps you. And because finding a therapist is a little like dating, if you don't fit in with your first therapist, and that's common, you can easily switch to a new therapist at no additional cost without the stress of insurance or who's in your network or anything like that. I'm a big proponent of therapy, and anybody that knows me can attest to the difference that it's made in my life the past couple years, and I recommend this program to anybody. So if you're struggling, please consider online therapy with BetterHelp. Click the link in the description or visit betterhelp.com/Allie. That's betterhelp.com/Allie for 10% off your first month. And we want to thank BetterHelp for supporting our podcast. Jake just told me this thing. So
Star Wars Battlefront.
It's not the newer Battlefronts that came out.
It's the classic remake.
Those were on PlayStation 2, Xbox
around
generation.
that time. Yeah.
I remember Battlefront 2 was great. I remember playing with
both of them are great.
clone troopers. You get little jump packs and a shotgun. It's fun as hell.
Yes, they're awesome.
So
it was a great idea to remake them.
A re-release is a remake or just like a refurbish?
A re-release.
Okay.
Yeah, like a remaster.
Of the first two.
Yes.
It's on Switch,
63 gigabytes.
What?
For games from PlayStation 2 era.
Fuck. Are you serious?
Yeah.
Okay.
63 gigabytes.
Red Dead Redemption is only 21 because I just had
telling you.
make room on my thing.
My conspiracy theory is true. They want to make their games as big as possible
Jake's
so you don't have
long-running
any other
conspiracy. Yeah.
games to play.
Huh.
Yeah.
So
that's why they made it.
They put it out
63.
a 63
I have the
gigabyte for
original
2
still.
PlayStation games.
Yeah.
And so it's online. So what happened with the online servers?
They didn't have enough. They
So-
did not.
okay.
They not only didn't have enough, they weren't even close.
So I know the answer to this question because Jake told me,
Yeah.
which is why I said we have to put this on the podcast. Listeners, if you don't know about this controversy, this is a Star Wars game. Star Wars, I'm going to say top 5 intellectual properties as far as
I want to
brand
say it's a big
recognition.
franchise.
As far as brand recognition in film, it's probably top 5 in the world.
I want to call it. There's probably more than 300 people that know about what Star Wars is.
At least.
All right.
So it's an online game. If you don't know, it's a massive game where two things. You're picking one side. You're either Trade Federation or the Separatists at that point, Separatists and the Republic, or you're Rebels and the Empire. And you're playing 32 on 32, and everyone's playing as foot soldier. It's fun. You die quickly. It's not as fun as Helldivers. We're still playing Helldivers. If you're not playing Helldivers, play with me and Jake. It's fun as hell. And so they have different rooms where teams of 64 people, 32 and 32, 64 people can play at a time.
Yeah.
Jake, how many rooms did they create at launch?
There was three servers
at
to
launch?
play on. Yeah.
You could have 3 matches going at a time.
Yeah. That was
How does
silly.
how does that even happen?
It must have been a mistake. I'm sure it was a mistake.
What's a
But it's
normal
just-
number? Like how many Helldiver games can be going at once?
They when it launched, Helldivers was having a problem because there was too many people playing, and they were capping it at 300,000 people playing.
Okay, and so that's 4-person teams. So just for shits and giggles, let's say that's 75,000 rooms.
Yeah.
I would say.
Well,
somewhere around there.
Yeah.
Might have just nailed that math, by the way. Off the top
I
of
have
my
no
head.
clue. I could
Regardless.
not refute you.
So that's 75,000. Star Wars went with 3.
Yeah.
So that's like if Helldivers launched and 12 people could play it at a time.
Well, it's just like it's wild.
And this is a
So,
game they charged people
They already
money
fixed
for.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Apparently they already fixed it, and everything's going much better. But that left a very sour taste in everybody's mouth.
Is it a full price game?
I can't remember.
No, Helldivers was
I don't know.
Helldivers was
Like
only
$40 maybe?
$40. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
great. Worth every penny too.
Yeah, that game's good.
So yeah, that's just a funny story. Now let's get into our recommendations. Speaking of funny stories, let's talk about one that's not funny at all. My recommendation for Jake, going on my long trend of documentaries and conspiracy theories, things that Jake always has to endure from me. The new Netflix documentary available to watch right now. It's called American Conspiracy: The Octopus Murders.
Yes.
I recommended this for Jake. I actually gave him a little bit of a heads up on this because it is a 4-part documentary. So it's about 3.5 hours total watch time. So I figure I'd just give Jake a little heads up. It's nice to do if you have a lot to do. But, sometimes you just recommend something that only takes like an hour, but it scars you for life. We'll get more into that later. So this is a documentary. Essentially, it's a documentary inside of a documentary because it's directed by a guy named Zachary Treats. This is in the modern day, and he's basically filming his friend Christian Hansen. Christian Hansen was a photojournalist for the New York Times, and he, a couple years ago, probably like 10 years ago, got into this conspiracy that another journalist in the 80s and 90s, a journalist named Danny Casolaro, got into. And this was Danny Casolaro was murdered, allegedly committed suicide under suspicious circumstances when he was tracking down a conspiracy involving the Department of Justice and the military-industrial complex and a whole bunch of weird three-letter agencies in the government. So it's a story about a guy filming his friend who gets involved in a conspiracy while he's tracking down a story about another guy who got involved in a conspiracy. So it's a weird Russian nesting doll of conspiracy documentaries. I think it's incredibly well made. I think it's captivating. Jake, what did you think about... What's your first impression of the Octopus Murders?
I mean, it's intriguing.
Yeah?
To say the least. I think it's ultimately uninteresting to me.
Really?
By the end of it. Yeah.
So the whole essential theory was that in the during the Cold War, a lot of governmental agencies were taking money and using the burgeoning computer industry, which I think is funny. There was a computer system called Promise, and that's kind of the jumping off point for this.
Yes.
Promise, Promis. It was like the first big network for law enforcement agencies to look up people. When there's like a national database now that any law enforcement agency can put people into and look up. So it's not like the Old West where you can commit a crime and then just shave your beard and move 2 towns over and no one has any idea who you are anymore.
Right.
So that's kind of the thing that Danny is doing all of his research on back in the 80s. He gets caught up in a weird casino on a Native American reservation out in California. There's a weird guy who...
So they wanted... Promise was a big deal. This was a very expensive piece of technology that the government was interested in. And the government doesn't just buy stuff from you. They'll squeeze it out of you. So they're just saying like they lost their funding for it.
Right.
So like there's where the conspiracy kind of starts is their funding was just cut off at one point, and then they fought it by law, and they had a judge even agree with them that their treatment was being unlawful.
There was a company called Inslaw that came up with the thing.
Inslaw came up with Promise. And Inslaw sued the government about this. They won from a judge's verdict.
Judge's order.
And then the judge was fired, and they hired on the defense lawyer for the part of the other side of Promise to be that judge.
Yeah.
And then they brought it back,
Which didn't raise any red flags about a conflict of interest or anything like that.
Yeah.
Where opposing counsel just becomes the judge de facto in the case.
So there's just weird stuff going on, completely like blatantly illegal. I should say, I guess, I don't know.
Not but aggressively illegal, but it is a heavily gray area.
Yeah.
Well,
they're doing stuff.
It's the kind of thing where it's blatant that it should be illegal.
Yeah.
But it's in this weird gray area where it's people, gaming the system, essentially. So that's when Danny Casolaro gets involved and starts going down this rabbit hole. Danny Casolaro as a character, I think, is incredibly...
Danny doesn't get involved until the boss of Inslaw is looking into this stuff, and he's starting to see conspiracies, and he's being told that he's getting death threats from people within the CIA.
Yeah.
That's when Danny gets involved, because he's like, what is that stuff? And it's pretty intriguing stuff.
Yeah.
Definitely.
It does, as far as documentaries made just in and of itself, not including the subject matter or whatever, it's not the best one of these. I think some of the other ones that we've looked at have been better paced as documentaries. I think this probably...
Absolutely.
I think this could have been cut down to 3 episodes.
I would agree with that, and I would say that it ends just like that's what leaves such a bad taste in my mouth.
Yeah,
is that it feels like it just rushes your head with all of these conspiracy theories, and then the final episode, it's like, and some of this could be true, but some of it's not.
Right. So
And
there's a weird.
I feel like it's more hysterical in its approach of being like, you should worry about everything instead of backing off and being reticent,
Right.
and being like, you should really think about the information that you're getting.
Because there's one guy that's involved in this. He was involved with Danny, and he's also involved with Christian, the guy that's investigating all this stuff now. A guy named Michael Riconosciuto.
Yeah.
Who's this very strange character. He goes to jail for
tech genius.
Tech genius. He's one of those guys, vaguely like almost Ted Kaczynski-esque, where it's just like he's a weird genius that the government's using to do weird stuff.
I mean, yeah, he was by 16, he was already in college.
Yeah.
Bringing his own argon laser to class to study more about it.
Never a good thing when a kid just brings a laser.
He gets arrested for manufacturing LSD in an underwater lab.
Yeah.
And he gets a reduced sentence, as it were, and it kind of follows him and his role in what Promise is. He was able to take the code of Promise and put what is, since the government already had the code of Promise to sell to other governments, he was able to put in what we call a backdoor, which means like a universal login for us so that we can just take a look at what the other governments are using this database for.
Exactly.
So he's saying this is essentially a international conspiracy.
So what the government did, what Jake was saying, is our government put in the back door to the system. So when they sell it to, let's say, one of the countries that kind of broke this was hilarious. They sold it to Canada.
Yeah.
And Canada needed help translating it into French for people in Quebec that only speak French.
Yeah.
So that's when Inslaw got the call and be like, wait, you guys have our software?
Yeah, we didn't sell it to you.
Right.
Yeah.
So in the U.S. government was giving it to all these companies or countries, being like, hey, you want to use our fun software? And then the U.S. government can get into any other country's software and see who they're spying on.
According to
Riconosciuto. Yeah, who is a very unreliable narrator just because
he says contradictory stuff.
Yeah.
He constantly retorts his role in drug manufacturing or distribution, even though like he's been arrested with it a couple of times. So it's like you're lying clearly about some stuff.
And something that doesn't really matter because you've served your prison time for the drug stuff anyway.
And it's only the way that his story only makes sense that it's as big as it is that they're laundering, like, because it ends up weapons manufacturing that they're dealing with, that you can launder as drug deals so that you don't have it saying I'm selling you missiles, I'm selling you LSD,
right?
Type of thing, and that's what you go to prison for if you're ever caught, instead of being in federal prison for treason.
Right.
You're just there for a couple months.
Exactly.
On drugs.
Right. It's like you got to bite the bullet and go in for something, but the government's just like, people can't really know what you did.
So, like, all this stuff is intriguing. It just kind of starts petering out by the end.
It does.
When it doesn't have any idea what a conclusion would be. I could tell that this, I don't even know, it feels like they want to set it up for a second season because it ends on the cliffhanger.
It does, and I kind of hate that point of documentaries.
Yes.
Like, I wanted you to watch this because I wanted you to think that, one, I know how you feel about conspiracy stuff. I think this is a good, the modern day guy, Christian Hansen, he does set it up kind of as a cautionary tale, and I think it does portray him as this aspect because it shows him 10 years ago when he was first getting into all this stuff. He had the cardboard boxes, he had everything except the, cork board with the red string, the whole Pepe Sylvia setup. And it's just like, at the end of it, he's just like, well, maybe it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like, maybe you shouldn't get so obsessed with any of this. And he backs off of it. And at the end, the whole big mystery is, did Danny Casolaro kill himself or not? Good people out in Martinsburg, West Virginia, when he did a FOIA request for him, they're like, oh yeah, you can come and see all the, you can come and see the stuff.
Yeah.
And he finally gets to go see all the documents about Danny's death that were things that were not in any major government report, not anything he had ever seen. So clearly the reports had been doctored, but at the end of it, he's like, he still might have killed himself. Yeah. And he doesn't really think it matters.
Yeah. Well, and like, I guess there's two things to take away from this type of telling, and it's one way is you can follow the conspiracy, but like that's going to be your life now,
Right.
Or you could back away and try to have a normal life,
Right.
You know,
Which I thought was a really optimistic message at the end of it.
for coming from the girl, you know,
Yeah.
the other lady,
Danny's friend.
yes,
Yeah.
that was also a journalist,
Yeah.
and she was like, I had, you know, there's this time where you find it where you're like, I either keep doing this or I try and have a normal life after this, and I felt like it just took it one more step after that by having them having Ricochet. Say his last name?
Riconosciuto.
Riconosciuto.
I kept wanting to call him Michael Prosciutto because he does look like a little Italian caricature.
Yeah.
And his last name sounds like prosciutto.
But having Riconosciuto call him on the phone and
Yeah.
being like, "You got to meet me over here.
They're coming to kill me.
People are dying," and then it like cuts to the end. It's like I don't want people to follow rabbit holes as willy nilly. It's pretty easy these days to get into it.
So easy.
And I don't. It just makes me uncomfortable seeing stuff like this where it's conspiracy theory that has no conclusion to its facts or even presents its evidence to refute. It refutes some of the stuff that it states before, but it never really goes through. It tells the narrative that it wants, and I back away not knowing how I feel about what I just saw.
Yeah.
You know?
I will say I took away from it that I think my governor on my scale for conspiracy theories, I think it might just be broken at this point, where I've gone down too many rabbit holes and I've just gotten too cynical. Because there's a point in this where he was talking, he's like, well, and he was finding out that is it possible that our government through the CIA was selling drugs and illegal weapons to other countries to raise money to fund rebels in other countries? And I'm just like, yeah, of course they were doing that. It wasn't.
That was
the
set
fact
up like
that,
a beat in that thing,
right? And it was that's exactly what I'm talking about. Where they're like, "Can you believe this was happening?" I'm like, "Of course they were." That was
leading you into the Iran Contra debacle.
I'm just like, that's a fucking Thursday for the CIA. Like they're doing this stuff all the time.
Yeah, I mean they presented a lot of stuff that the CIA was doing that's pretty terrifying.
Just if I had been in Christian's shoes and just reading, I would have never been able to be sucked into this rabbit hole, because I think I've gone around the other way on conspiracies where it'd take a lot for me to get sucked into a conspiracy. Both of us talked about this briefly. We're both kind of sucked into a conspiracy right now. It's all in my algorithm right now.
What's that?
Is what happened to the princess.
Oh, yes.
That's a fun conspiracy.
Kate Middleton?
Kate Middleton.
She probably got a Brazilian butt lift.
I have seen so many weird things. So if people don't know, the princess went missing. Apparently she hasn't been seen for a couple months. And then everyone's like, hey, where's the princess?
That's
and no one's
crazy.
seen her. And everyone's saying that maybe she went in for cosmetic surgery. Maybe she went and did something else. Yeah. I've heard things that say she's been replaced by another lizard body double.
Of course. Yeah.
I've heard that she got get outed. Like
well,
that
the only thing that happened was on Twitter, she posted a picture being like, we're fine.
The worst thing ever.
And then the picture is really weird.
Horribly photoshopped picture. And that's her evidence, her proof of life, so to speak. I was like, see, everything's fine. And it's like, immediately, the internet's so broken to the point where you can post that and immediately someone's like, look, the cuff of that sweater doesn't match up with this, and this reflection's messed up, and that face is the exact same face as this picture, and it's put in here, and her hair stops at a weird angle. It's like, why would you post that Photoshop? And then it's the flip side of that, the trying to prove a negative, where you're like, oh, we'll see. She wants to post this Photoshop because she wants people to think this because something else is really going on. And I'm like, see, this is a silly, silly conspiracy. And I could never get sucked into it to the point where, like Christian and part of this, where people would be like, you've really got issues here. Like, this is going to start to control your life.
I mean, yeah, I'm backed away.
Yeah.
You know, when I see it on the news, I'll be like, oh, that's what happened. Or I will forget about it in a month.
Yeah.
Because it really, I know the name Kate Middleton.
Yeah.
I'm going to take a stab right in the dark. Mm-hmm. What prince she's married at. Here we go. She's married.
50-50 chance, man.
To Prince? No, because I don't even know. I didn't even know that there was two princes.
There's one, two?
Well, shut up. I was about to do it. I think you took it away. George?
No.
Damn it. Harry?
No.
Shit. I don't know any other.
George is William's son. William and Kate's son is George.
William and Mary.
Nope.
Willie?
Will.
Big
Willie.
Will and Kate.
Yes.
Okay.
+8.
Good job. But yeah.
It's a weird
that
tangent.
picture, it was just that stuff. When that picture shows up, that's the stuff that it's like, something is going on.
Yeah. It's very silly.
Like, it's because it was somebody at a. There was looking at it, they're like, oh, God, something's going on with Kate. He's like, just put up the picture because I just need some time to think. I just need to think for a second. We'll get something, okay? Just put up a picture that says you're happy. Because there was a woman that went through and she was like, this photo might have been taken in November. And she was like, I want to go through this fashion magazine that she was in December. And they're like, this is the same exact clothes. And she's like, they don't do that a lot.
And apparently the British have very different press laws than we do. So once that picture got out, there was a kill order placed on it where British journalists weren't allowed to post it anymore.
Because it's, unless you're going to be like,
Yeah.
this is a doctored photo.
Right.
Because it
but
said,
you can't
like,
stop
it was
America,
heavily
fuckos.
doctored.
Like, we're just still going to talk about it.
That's crazy.
It's very silly. So what do you give Octopus Murders?
I give it a 2.
2?
Yeah, but it feels like a theme develops by like the 3rd episode.
Yes.
And it's because before I was taking it
shorter.
I was taking it as a documentary at first, when instead it was trying to tell a story around the documentary about conspiracy theories and like its grasp on you, and that really didn't sink in for a long time for me. But if you could consume it in that lens, I think it'll hit different.
I think the last 2 documentaries that we had talked about, American Nightmare and Telemarketers, better documentaries just based on the pacing and the editing and stuff like this. I think part of that might be Netflix trying to pad it out because they are trying to keep you on their service for as long as possible. Like, they're not trying to put out, if something's made for Netflix and made by Netflix, then they'll kind of try to space it out a little bit, I think. But I still think it's a very interesting thing.
It was interesting.
I'm reading a fun conspiracy book called The Devil's Chessboard that everyone should check out as well. Available to listen to on Spotify. It's about Alan Dulles and the births of the CIA.
Huh.
That guy was a big fan of Nazis, and he ran our spies for a while. He's a big fan of Nazis, and he did not try to keep it secret.
There's a lot of Nazis in this country, man.
No, I'm talking about, like, he was in Europe in the 1930s and 40s, that kind of fan of Nazis. Like, he was friends with Nazis.
That's what I'm saying. They came over here, and then they were like, I want to start doing an American life.
Inviting Heinrich Himmler over to his house and stuff. Yikes. And his brother has an airport named after him near us. So
Dulles?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Dulles is named?
What'd you think it was named after?
Dallas, but wrong?
What are you talking about?
What are you talking about? One of us sounds insane right now.
Yes, and it's not me.
Yeah. Named after a Nazi's brother.
No, a fan of Nazis' brothers. Dallas, but sounds wrong. Right. Yeah, there are people thinking that they should rename that airport.
I had no clue.
Funny thing to talk about afterwards. But let's talk about Jake's recommendation for me.
Hell yeah.
Video game released in 2016. Indie developer, solo developer. It was just one person that made all this, right?
Kitty Horrorshow.
Kitty Horrorshow, who, as far as you've told me a little bit, she's a bit of a recluse.
I haven't heard from her. We talk on the phone every day. No,
she doesn't respond to my text anymore.
She hasn't been active on anything in a long time.
Yeah.
But I have been hankering for some games like this for a while.
So is she one of the people like what's his nuts that makes Stardew Valley? Barone.
Eric Barone.
Where she just makes her own game, like her own thing. I know he has a staff now with Stardew Valley because it's such a big game.
Yeah.
But that started out as him just himself.
Yeah.
I was trying to find out. I can't even find her actual name.
I can't. No, I don't know.
So she's kind of like a Banksy of video games.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
But no, she's a solo developer.
Right.
But like what Eric Barone did was like he made the graphics and the music and the sound effects and everything by himself. Like that was.
Oh yeah,
what was
I know,
amazing
but I'm
about it.
just saying,
But,
like
yeah,
one person making a game,
She used the assets. She used assets and things to make this game.
right? Which I did kind of go down a.
Not to take anything away from this
No.
experience, because I think this experience is wholly worthwhile.
So Anatomy, I got it on itch.io.
Yes.
I couldn't open it on my Mac, which
Yeah.
I'm really happy that I didn't anymore. But we have a Windows thing upstairs.
Cool.
Because I will say this, I downloaded it on my Mac, couldn't get it to open, and now it's deleted from my Mac, and now it's deleted from my other computer.
Yeah, you only need to play it once. It doesn't allow you to play it again.
Jake, I don't even want to think about this game again.
That's amazing.
So-
Got you good, huh?
Okay, so this
It's
game,
been a while since I spooked you, buddy.
I texted you, and I said, fuck you forever.
Huh?
Why would you do this to me? Anyone who's listened to this podcast before, I don't like scary things.
Yeah.
I don't like scary things. And what I really like is my things that I know aren't scary. And what this game did in a horror genre, and what it tried to do, and what it executed perfectly,
Hell yeah.
no notes, was to take something that you're comfortable with and make it very, very horrifying.
Yeah. The creepiness of this game is unprecedented.
Okay, so the game is called Anatomy. It's available to download. You can go to itch.io. It costs $2.99. Play it at your own risk. Because I'm going to say this, and I don't say this lightly, because you've had me watch some spooky stuff. You've had me, and I've played some games that are horror games and anything like that.
Yeah.
With no...
And I definitely found your direction for horror. You prefer a horror action where you have some sense of control over
Nope,
what's
this
going
made it
on.
worse. This made it worse.
Yeah, well, because you have none of that.
Right.
There's nothing. You can only experience.
Okay. But like I was saying,
Whoa.
without question, this is... The hour playing this game is scarier than any movie I've ever watched.
Hell yeah, dude. It's inspirational.
I'm playing this. I was playing this downstairs in this basement at this very table,
Yeah.
and twice I had to get up and just walk away from my computer.
Damn, son.
Legit got to me. So the whole premise of this game is it's got. I would say the graphics are on par with about Doom. Like it's that kind of first person-y Doom. You know,
I would say it's asset flip. I mean, well, I say asset flip, but it's not.
I don't know what that means.
So like, you can go to a store online and
Yeah, I downloaded Unity because you can develop games by yourself. I want to make a game.
And there's a store you can buy models and import it into Unity so that you don't have to spend your time crafting that stuff, right? So it has that generic type feel to it,
Right.
Where it's pretty sparse, but it's a house. You know,
The
It looks
entire
like a
game
house.
takes place in a house, the size of
Yeah.
a suburban house. It's got a living room, it's got a family room, or no, it's got a family room, it's got a dining room, it's got a kitchen, it's got 3 bedrooms upstairs, it's got a garage, it's got a basement. That's it.
Yep.
Downstairs bathroom, upstairs bathroom, and it's in first person viewed. You're doing the WASD and you're doing your mouse.
Yep.
We'll say this, side note, I fucking hate WASD and mouse. It's just not for me. It's not for me.
You'll get used to it.
Yeah, no, I won't, because I'm never playing this again. So the game consists of walking around the house. It's very dark. You get the feeling something's going to pop out at you. Nothing ever does, and that makes it worse. And you go into a kitchen, and there's a red light, and there's a tape. You click on the tape. You put it in the tape player. This is set in 1994. It says the beginning. It opens up, and it's like a blue.
It looks like starting a
Youthful listeners,
camcorder.
yeah, youthful listeners won't know this, but when you used to have to record things on an actual videotape and you boot it up, there'd be a blue thing with the date on it, and it'd be kind of like some weird tracking stuff, and it starts playing stuff, and there's a voice just telling you about a house and how a house is kind of like
sounds like a professor,
right. It's like a very
like a lecture.
A lecture. It's a lecture. I fucking just hate. You have no idea how much this got to me. I hate talking about it. People had asked me, like, "Oh, what are you talking about on the show?" And I'm like, "I played this game. How was it?" Fucking, I hated every minute of it. And there weren't very many minutes of it. So you're going through, and it's just getting worse. And then you play the tape, and then it says, "There's a tape in the living room." You're like, "Okay, so I'll go in the living room." And you go in the living room, and you're poking around, and it's first-person view, and you're like, "I hope nothing jumps out at me." And then you see a tape, and you get it, and you play the tape again, and it's like, "There's a tape in the garage." And you go out in the garage. There's tape in the bathroom, and then you go in the bathroom, and it plays you a little bit of the lecture, and it's getting weirder and weirder, telling you about how a house is like a body. And then it's like, there's tape in the basement. You know, I don't want to go in the basement.
Yeah.
And you go in the basement, and you're like, there's going to be something. There's always something in the basement. There's always something in the basement. And there's nothing in the basement.
No.
And that makes it worse. And then you go back up, and then it's like, oh, the bedrooms are the scariest part.
Yeah.
Because the bedrooms are where you're asleep.
That was my favorite part.
The bedrooms, and this is where it
It's
really
where you're
fucked
most
me.
vulnerable. It's
Yeah.
where most people die.
Right.
It's like,
And it's like where you go in
perfect
your
sense.
dreams.
Like the basement is nothing.
And then your bedroom is where your house is supposed to protect you. You
Yeah.
trust your
You
house
trust
to protect
your
you.
house.
And you're like, what?
Yeah.
And then you go, and then it just says, there's a tape in the bedroom. And you're like, no. Oh, and then you have to, because there's nothing else you could do.
I mean, you could stop playing the game.
This
You
is
can't,
one of the times
but you
when I
can
got up
stop playing the
and
game.
walked away from the computer. I'm like, I don't want, no. You just told me
The amount of
Not
tension
to.
that this game builds is so good.
this game takes maybe 45 minutes
Yeah.
if you walk away from your computer twice.
Yeah.
And then you go up and you go in the bedroom. There's nothing in the bedroom. And you go try to find the door. Door's not there. There's a tape recorder
Yeah.
stuck to the wall.
Right there. Oh, that part is so good. There's no sting. There's no law. Blah.
I
It's
legit,
just,
as soon as
where's the door?
You turn around and there's a
it's so
tape
good.
recorder on a wall.
Yeah.
I literally was looking at my computer and just went, no, no.
Yeah, because you don't want to hear what's on there.
And then you listen to that tape, and then what happens? The game shuts off.
Yeah. Game just cuts itself out.
And I'm like, oh.
Crashes.
At that point, I'm like, oh, that was kind of cute. Like, at that point, I was like, all right, it's kind of cute. And then I got into my head. I was like, I kind of want to go and see if I could speed run this game. Literally my thought after that. I was like, that's kind of cute. I know where everything is now. I can beat this game in 2 minutes.
Hell yeah.
I mean, well, you have to listen to the recording before anything else will spawn. So I'm like, I wonder what the speed run is for this game. And I'm just like, oh, that'd be kind of fun. And I could tell Jake, game didn't scare me.
Yeah.
And also, I beat it in 6 minutes.
Yeah, my
so
PB's sub 12.
yeah. And so I boot up the game again, and the game's different.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's different.
kind of corroded now.
It looks worse.
It's impossible now. With the houses now, it's impossible. There's doors on top of doors.
Oh.
There's just walls of windows
Yep.
that are elongated.
Yep. Windows are the eyes of the house.
Dishes are just floating in midair.
Hate that the
Yeah.
windows are the eyes of the house.
Yeah.
Hate that. Hate it so much. Hate it so much.
Because you
and
can
then
see
it starts
in,
to tell you,
but you can
go
also see
through,
out.
and then at that point, you know the rotation. You go to the dining room, then you go to the family room, then you go to the
Yes.
bathroom, then you go to the garage. Because then it just says, like, there is a tape in the...
You could read it, but it's distorted now. And
Right.
it's like there's a tape in the bathroom.
And there's worse.
You listen to it, and it's garbled.
Yeah, and the
it's
bathroom
getting
mirrors
worse.
injected sideways, so the game
Yeah.
looks glitchy. And this is what Kitty Horrorshow does so geniusly. It makes you think the game's glitching, but
Yeah.
it's not. It's supposed to make you feel like it's wrong,
Yeah.
but it's not. Everything works fine, and it looks horrible, but you, like, open a door, and then there's another door behind it.
Yeah.
And it's just horrible,
Good
horrible,
stuff.
horrible. And I mean that not in the sense that it's bad. I mean it in the sense that
It's
it is
horrifying.
full of horror.
Yeah.
And again, there's just a voice, and you're just clicking things. And eventually you get to the next thing, and you go, and the game shuts off again. And at this point, I'm like, that's not the end. I know that's not the end. What am I going to do?
Yeah.
I'm going to go upstairs. I'm going to reheat some pasta from last night. I'm going to eat, and I'm going to think, and then I'm going to boot this game up again.
Hell yeah.
And I boot it up a third time. God damn it.
Yeah. It's even worse.
There are weird, like, body parts. Like, you're inside
the
of a
house
body.
is pulsating.
Right. There are, like, veins that are
tendrils.
shooting
Yeah.
through. There's weird walls and everything like that. And then there's just teeth.
Yes.
Like,
The
there's
teeth
just
got me
pictures
good.
of teeth, and there's weird paintings on the wall.
An anatomical drawings.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And then you have to go back up into the bedroom. And it just, like, eventually the walls just start closing on you. And it's saying, like, the house is like a mouth.
Yeah.
And it's going to eat you. And it's the worst. It's the worst thing. It's the
wonderful.
worst thing
Yeah. I love
I've
it.
ever done.
It's truly wonderful.
I will say this. So, our grading system, for people that don't know, it's between 1 and 3. Jake gave the last thing a 2. 2 is like, it's fine. 3 is that's up my alley. That's the whole point of this show. Trying to find something that's up the other person's alley. Something that they might have missed, something that they might have looked over, something that's new and
Something
maybe
you're
off
trying to
their
convince
radar.
them.
Yeah, it's the whole point of the show is recommend something to your friend. Because how many times in your life have you recommended something to your friend and be like, dude, you got to fucking watch this? And I'm like, I'll watch it. And they never do.
Yeah.
And this, you get a chance to force them to do it.
Yeah.
This game is the concept of this game is genius. I think as far as things that we've talked about on the show before, like you saying things that can only be done in a video game. If I was, and I watched people play this because I kind of went down a rabbit hole on this game too. I showed you a YouTube video of a guy that compared this to a game we talked about last week, Control. Because the whole point about this is a haunted house, not a haunted house like a house.
That's
that
Jacob
has,
Geller's video.
Jacob Geller, shout out to him on YouTube.
He's amazing. He's got a book coming out soon.
Oh, nice.
Yes,
I had watched one of his videos before. I don't remember which one, but I think you had sent it to me.
probably.
So he has this whole thing about haunted houses where it's not a haunted house meaning there are scary things in the house. It's that the house itself is scary, which sucks because the whole part about this game is like, you think you're safe here. You're not safe here. And then the house is mad at you for some reason. It's like at one point it's just blurry text. It just says you never came back.
Yeah.
You're just like, what the fuck happened?
You could tell that it's mad.
I know. It's horrible.
I love it.
So the concept of this game, genius. The execution of this game, flawless. No notes. One of the best thought out when you're trying to give the way Outer Wilds gave you the sense of exploration in space and the way as like being trapped by yourself, the isolation that Outer Wilds could make you feel. The way the fantasy that Red Dead Redemption 2 can give you, like a game trying to make you feel something, and it does it. If you're going for scary, no, I haven't seen a single game that could
compares.
do it. Nothing. Not Resident Evil, not any of the games that are quote-unquote horror games. Nothing does it better than this 90-minute, $2.99 experience. And I'll tell you what, I can tell you how this game is played. I can tell you the entire story. I've skipped some beats because I don't want to think about it. And
my thing is, I've already played this game before. I replayed it before I recommended it to you to see what it was.
No.
And I was still playing with goosebumps crawling up my arms. And I was like, this is the greatest. I can't believe it's so strong still.
It's a flawlessly executed game. And the fact that it came out in 2016, but it's kind of set in like the mid-90s-ish because the game says it's set in 1994 and it kind of has an aesthetic of, it's like Dark Forces Doom. Like that's around when this game probably would have come out. Flawless piece of media. Mm-hmm. It's a 1. It's such a 1. I hate that this is in my brain. I hate that I did this.
I'll do this for fun.
I know. That's our biggest difference in stuff like this. Is I wouldn't wish this on my own worst enemy. We could translate this into other languages and use it to torture people. This is the worst. I know that's what it was trying to do. The way this made me feel, I never want to do it again. I don't want to do anything like this.
And the way that this game ends, did you try and boot it up after the third time?
And I was just like, it's some weird like negative. It's like negative because like blue and red, like the sky was red and it was blue, and you're like walking through a neighborhood and there's just this house at the end. And you just walk into it and it gives you like this big spiel and there's like just a side tape recorder and it's just talking at you. And I hate everything. I hate everything about it.
I think it's beautiful.
It's 100% a 1. It's a flawless work of art.
Yes.
And the fact that she's an enigmatic creator,
man.
I hate it. I hate this so much. I told you, fuck you forever, because I'm down in the basement playing this game.
Oh, yeah. The safest place to be in the house.
Right, but then I have to go upstairs to sleep. And there might be teeth there. And I hated all of it. So fuck you forever for making me play this. But the fact that I did it, it's one of those things where I'm just like, now I have this on my palette of references.
Yes, sir.
Because you told me last week, I was like, oh, is this a scary game? You're like, it'll give you goosebumps. Fuck. What?
I
no.
didn't say it like that. I said it gave me goosebumps.
You said it's, a breeze can give you goosebumps, Jacob.
That's different. That's cold.
Fucks your mind
that
for the rest of your life.
That reminds me of the sensitive touch when it comes to horrifying things. I'm pretty callous about.
This is fucking genius. The fact that this is only $2.99 is baffling to me.
Yes.
She deserves all the awards.
Yes. I really hope wherever she is, she's doing fantastic.
Me too.
Because what a beautiful creator that we have. And I hope she just keeps doing it. She has a whole page on Itch.io. Everything's free. Everything's really thought-provoking and definitely creepy. Wonderful. I would say Anatomy is my favorite out of all of her
She
stuff.
has another one in that Jacob Geller video talking about a game called UFO. Which looks
0000
horrifying as well. All of her stuff looks horrifying. It looks like she's an artist with a vision. I just don't ever want to see that vision. It's fine. Things aren't for everybody.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be for everybody.
Yeah.
Not everything's fucking Tom Petty and burritos. Not everyone has to like it. Like, some things are for...
Absolutely.
But fuck, this was...
But I'm so proud of you, man.
This is an
You
experience.
picked it up exactly the way that I was expecting you to. You know?
No, I'm upset because I thought the only problem is I thought I had beaten it and I was just coming back in because I was just like, oh, that was kind of cute.
That was amazing.
It was a
because
nice little parable.
I expected you to text me and being like, that was extremely short. And I was going to have to tell you to like, hey, like, open it up again. Like, just try and play it again.
Literally, my own hubris brought me back into it that I was thinking I was going to speed run it.
Yeah. That's great.
Yeah.
That's just what a great pull. I'm so happy.
So dumb.
Man, that game is one of my favorites.
dumb.
And it's just a beaut that you played it.
Yeah, I never want to talk about it again.
Very happy.
Never want to talk about it again. And
Cool.
I'm done. So, thank you,
buddy.
everybody, for listening. Be sure to subscribe and like on YouTube. Like I said, subscribe on anything that you guys are doing that on. And be sure to write us upyouralleypod@gmail.com. Go play Anatomy. Tell us how that worked out for you. But before we leave, let's get into what we're going to be talking about next week. Jake, what do you got for me?
You're not done with video games, buddy.
Is it scary again?
It's not as scary.
Don't say nothing's as scary as this.
It's not going to scare you. I would feel like it's not going to scare you.
Okay, that's not...
But it's a short game. It's free.
Okay.
It's on Steam.
All right.
Probably not to get Steam. And
Got Steam Deck upstairs. I'm good.
it's called How Fish is Made.
How Fish is Made?
Yes, and it has a sequel game within that game too that you
Called
play.
Fish Fuck Each Other?
It's called Last One and then Another.
That was a better joke than you gave it credit for.
It was Fish Fuck Each Other.
How Fish is Made, and the sequel game is called Two Fish Fuck Each Other.
I didn't even think about what the name of the game was.
Short narrative-driven experience about talking fish and making choices.
Yep,
Okay.
you're gonna play that.
I don't like how this looks.
It's I really love this game, and the studio that made these games are having a game coming out soon called Mouthwashing.
Yeah.
And if you look at that game, you're going to be like, no. But I think
I'm looking at this game and I'm thinking, no.
I think you're going to play this game, and you're going to be like, oh, okay, I see you.
I trust you.
Yeah,
I don't know why, but
it's
I
not
trust
as
you.
scary as Anatomy. I promise you that.
All right. I don't know why, but I trust you.
You're probably going to be mad at me because it's not going to be the experience that you expected.
No, nothing was.
But I think we'll have a nice, engaging conversation out of How Fish is Made.
Good. Well, since you took me to horror, I'm going to take you back to the genre where we started this podcast as well.
You're going to make me angry?
Yep. Nope, because I'm going to make you watch history.
Oh, okay.
Now available for streaming, 2023 film starring Joaquin Phoenix, Napoleon.
Okay.
Now available to stream on Apple TV Plus.
The seas are now our battlefields.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So you're going to watch Napoleon.
Je suis Napoleon.
Yes, you are. So you're going to watch Napoleon. That's available to stream on Apple TV Plus.
Damn.
I'm going to... Why damn?
I don't know. I know nothing about Napoleon, so it should be really informative to me.
Yeah. Average height for that time.
1
First thing
foot
you should know.
2.
No. Everyone says he's short, but he wasn't really short.
No, he just
average.
had big bodyguards.
No, it was just a rumor started by the English to make fun of him.
He just looks like a stupid little man. Look at that short. If I saw that picture of him on the horse,
Right.
that painting, I as well would have been like, look at that short, stocky man on that fat horse.
Also, his beloved is played by Vanessa Kirby, who recently got cast as Sue Storm in the new Fantastic Fours.
Oh.
So she's great too.
Cousin.
So you watch Napoleon. I'm going to play How Fish is Made.
Yeah. How
Not
Fish
looking
is
forward
Made.
to this. Tune in next week to find out how the hell that goes. Jake, thanks for coming over. I love you, buddy.
Love you, man.
Bye.
Bye.